A lot of people think that a degree in religious studies inevitably leads to a fine career in Starbucks. But we all know that's a fallacy. Hi, I'm Stephanie Londoño, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you why religious studies is very much important and relevant in today's world. Religious studies is pretty much connected with everything: culture, economics, and yes, politics. In case you haven't noticed, in every single major controversial political discussion, such as abortion, global warming, war on terror, immigration, welfare policy, and most recently gay marriage, religion has played a key role in public, political, and legal opinion. So if you're into business administration, education, political science, history, accounting, psychology, journalism, and even biology, understanding religion will allow you to access your field and every other discipline from a deeper perspective. Religious studies is an interdisciplinary field, which means that it incorporates other disciplines to produce knowledge such as sociology, archaeology, psychology, philosophy, history, and anthropology, just to name a few. So if you thought that you had nothing in common with religious studies, think again. But before we continue, let me get the small elephant out of the room. You may be thinking religious studies is not for me. In fact, you may believe this pervasive stereotype that says that religion is just what you do during your private time once a week at a church, synagogue, mosque, or temple with the same group of people you often don't see outside the setting. Or we can even go further and say that it is an obsolete field in the secular society. But really, this is just a stereotype, which we owe to many great sociologists that during the 60s and 70s predicted that religion was very soon going to die. Like John Lennon, they imagined a world without religion.
No religion too.
But of course, that was not possible. Religion is all around us and is here to stay. In fact, religion is emerging alongside race, gender, and ethnicity as one of the key identity markers of the 21st century. So not only did religion survive the devaluation it suffered during the scientific revolution, today there are more Christians in the United States than there have ever been in any other country in the history of the world, with a Christian population of about 250 million. Plus, the gut business is good. In the 2010, the Pew Research Center revealed that Islam was the #1 topic in the media, above politics and science. And as author James Livingston says, understanding religion allows us to comprehend our culture, achieve global perspective, and help us formulate our own religious beliefs or philosophy. A couple of examples of how imperative religious studies is to succeed as global professionals. For instance, it is very difficult for a US American to make sense of a world in which people kill and make peace in the name of Christ and Allah without basic religious literacy. I mean, how are we to understand international conflicts in the Middle East, such as ISIS or Israel and Palestine relations, by only consuming the news? Or the terrorist attack by radical Muslims to the French satirical newspaper Charlie Hebdo after publishing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. And the most recent events, such as the shooting of 9 people at a historically black church in Charleston, South Carolina, or Pope Francis' 200-page encyclical on the environment and his fiery speeches against capitalism. And closer to home, can we be responsible citizens without recognizing that the God talk has been essential since 2004 in every single political campaign? I mean, if God isn't mentioned, politicians have discovered that you pretty much can forget about running. And even if you're interested in the entertainment world, you have heard about religious issues, such as soccer players playing the World Cup during Ramadan, or Hollywood actors joining and exposing the Church of Scientology. So if you sincerely look around you for a day, you will discover that our society is awash with religious symbols, and understanding them and analyzing them not only makes us more interesting people, but most importantly, it makes us responsible citizens. However, there is a problem. And the problem is that even though United States is an extremely religious country, it is also extremely ignorant on the subject. And so we become limited in our efforts to interpret and analyze these historical events. The following statistics reveal how much in need we are of religious literacy. According to scholar Stephen Prothero, Catholics, for example, cannot name the 7 sacraments. Protestants can name the 4 Gospels, and Jews can name the 5 books of Moses. Only 10% of US American teenagers can name all 5 major world religions, and 15% cannot name any. And this is very much ironic, given that nearly 2/3 of US Americans believe that the Bible holds the answers to all or most of life's basic questions. Yet only half of US adults can't name even one of the 4 Gospels, and most US Americans cannot name the first book of the Bible. Even worse, 10% of US Americans believe that Joan of Arc was Noah's wife, and a large portion think that Sodom and Gomorrah were actually married. This may sound funny, but it is hurting us in meaningful ways. As Prothero notes, US ambassadors to Muslim-majority countries don't have to have any training in Islam. The same goes for ambassadors to India who don't know anything about Hinduism, or to China who don't know anything about Confucianism. So if religion is this important, we ought to know something about it, particularly in a democracy, where 92% of the members of Congress are Christians, as were 100% of 50 state governors in 2000. So why is religious studies relevant in today's world? Stephen Prothero says that, like the scene in The Wizard of Oz in which Dorothy opens the door to a Technicolor Munchkin land, many key chapters in US and world history leap from black and white to color once you realize the role religion played in them. How the inner light of the Quakers shaped the abolitionist movement, how biblical criticism lent the women's rights movements much of its early brio, and how the technological mouthful of dispensational premillennialism fed the bottom line of software firms during the months before Y2K. The same is true of the stories that appear in the morning paper and on the nightly news. The enduring popularity of the Da Vinci Code, the Yankees-Red Sox morality play, and the ritual cycles of presidential elections all make far more sense and are far more intriguing if these tales are not stripped off the coat of many colors that is religion. I'm Stephanie Londoño. Thanks for watching, and welcome to the Religious Studies Department at FIU.